I'm A1C Zeiss and I'm currently in Arizona for ICT school training. I'm going to give you a quick, very shallow, because obviously I'm not extremely experienced. I've been in less than 2 years and I'm still getting the feel of the career field myself, but I want to give it a brief explanation because of the amount of people who ask me what my job is, what I do, and the amount of people who are civilians getting into this career field and they kind of want to know what to expect. So the first step is tech school. My tech school was 17 days long a year ago, a little over a year ago, and now it is 14 days long. And that's because it's just a little buffer. It's not anything super serious or really intense. It basically gives you the in-depth, but also not very in-depth versions of all the different spots you could be working in this career field, because it's like a fully loaded machine. Like, there's so many different little parts and you have no idea which one you might end up in, if that makes any sense. So I can only really speak from the CRC aspect. That's where I ended up. My first duty station was Mountain Home Air Force Base in Idaho. There are 3 CRCs. There's Hill in Utah, Mountain Home in Idaho, and then Aviano over in Italy. And those are the 3 that are constantly deploying, like every single year. They have people going out and deploying to some sort of area. The areas vary, but those are the ones that really stay with their feet on the ground. The other ones, there's only 13 bases we can go to. So the other 10 bases, they do deploy, just not as such a large scale. Like, they might have more onesies to twosies or something like that. So if you're in this career field, odds are you're going to deploy. Odds are you're gonna go to Korea. You know, those are just like really high chances. Like, it's a very active career field. They try to talk it up a lot, saying about how war-based it is, because it is. Like, we're not actually doing our jobs for the most part unless we're overseas and actually in a war, pretty much, for the most of it. So from the CRC aspect, there's 3 basic positions that you'll be put into whenever you first join. And that's ST, which is what I did when I first came in, WD, and then ICT, what I'm doing now. The ST is surveillance technician. They come here at Luke for 3 months and then they graduate, and they're basically looking at a radar and IDing all the aircraft that they see on it, telling what kind of aircraft it is, telling if it's friendly, if it's hostile, if it's a suspect, stuff like that. And the WD is a weapons director. They come to Luke for 6 months. They have the longest school out of those 3. And they are the ones talking to the pilots, knowing how much fuel they have, how many weapons they have, what altitude they're flying at, where they should be flying. And they're telling the pilots, like, hey, I need you to shoot this guy, I need you to maneuver and zoom this way, I need you to drop some bombs over here. Like, they're just directing the weapons, pretty much, and telling aircraft how to fight in most situations. That's just the shallow side of it. The ST and the WD are normally working really close together because the WD has a lot on their plate, so the ST kind of takes some of it off and helps them with whatever they can or whatever they need. The ICT, on the other hand, comes to Luke for about a month and a half. My school here is 27 work days, and I do more of the technical stuff. Like, I'm checking all the radios, making sure they have the frequency, getting into any crypto information they need, making sure that the ground station and the aircrafts can see and hear each other, essentially, at very shallow face value definition. That's what I'm doing. So as soon as you get into this career field, you have a secret clearance. And then in some parts of the career field, at different bases you may go to, you get a top secret clearance. My current station at Nellis Air Force Base is going to require a top secret within the next 2 years, probably. So that's happening. There's a lot of people in our career field with a top secret. Okay, so we work at computers for the most part. We're not really out doing stuff unless we have an exercise, which of those 3 CRC bases I named, those guys are doing exercises more often because they are deploying so frequently. At the other ones, you're not as likely to do any like mop gear exercises, but at those 3, you have mop gear on you. You keep it like at home, basically, so you actually own the mop gear until you go to a new duty station. You're putting on the gas mask. You have to do a gas mask test when you get there, but it's just with like air. It's not any pepper spray or anything like that. They just want to make sure it fits you well. yeah, so I can't speak a whole lot about the AOCs or a few of the other special assignments. Like my one at Nellis, it's not an AOC and it's not a CRC. It's kind of like a weird in the middle. So the career field honestly has a lot of gray areas, even for someone who's literally in it and has been in it for almost 2 years. There's still a lot about it that I don't know just because I haven't experienced it. I haven't lived it. But yeah, I think for the most part, that's pretty much it. If anyone has any comments about the career field that you'd like to leave below, that way anyone watching this video can just refer to that also, go for it. Yeah, it's really exciting. I personally love it. I think it's the best decision I've ever made, career-wise, for sure. Like, it's been a lot of fun, and it's definitely not a boring job unless you make it boring. A lot of the people here know each other. It's a very small, critically manned career field. Yeah, that's all I've really got for you. If you have any questions, you can either comment or you can message me. Yeah, any of those things really work.